Hey guys, welcome back to Maxplained Dawn of War Unification. Today I will present you the first of 4 videos where I present you more than one faction, but not a complete faction view, but the you could say updated, or what updates have they got, new units, adjustments from version 5.9.1. So my original guide videos for these factions still stand true for about 95 to 98% from what I'm telling you, and what has changed I will tell you in this video. I go alphabetically, so I have the first 3 factions that have not got a big rework or a lot of new units, which will be, as you can see here, Adeptus, Mechanicus, Explorators, Blood Angels and Black Templar. For all I have a little save game where I will talk you through the changes, and then directly after it I have a replay that I have played and where I wanted to try and show what you now can do or cannot do if something got buffed or nerfed respectively. So let's jump in the first save game for Adeptus Mechanicus, where we see what has changed / adjusted for them. And here we are, where I show you all the units that have changed in one fell swoop. The biggest changes, you could say, were made by this name that I cannot pronounce, so I will call them Skitari. The Skitari have their building time slightly lowered, as they are your first unit that hit the field that can cap. So you want to have them a little earlier, and as you have only one production building, they got a little slightly increased building time. They their weapon prices have normalized, so there's no let's say too cheap longless, or for example their leader got a little cheaper as well. And the most important thing is that they got more expensive the more upgrades you do. They start with 180 and 0 power, and there are a series of upgrades here that increased the price. The first one increased the price to something ridiculous, like I don't even recall it, like 240 and 60 power or something. The ending price is still the same, I think, but the curve is a little slower. Now it is 240 and 30. If you get the next one, the advanced targeting optics, it goes to 360, and the final one with the Skitari twin weapons, which is basically more or less double damage for them, increases the price to the 360 and 90. So the curve of the price increase is not as steep, so you can add some troops for, let's say, okay-ish prices in tier 2 as well. Another little nerf is the movement speed of the warrior. It's still very fast on its foot, but this should help balance it on smaller maps where a lot of players were frustrated with them having warrior rushed. It is still a possibility to use the warrior rush, so it's not out of the picture. But that's okay, I think. If you are on a small map against Adeptus Mechanicus, you want to prepare for that, or you give them, they have a little home advantage on those maps. That's totally fine. Some factions are better on some maps, and some are weaker on certain maps as well. Then we have the Hellstalker. The Hellstalker was a little underwhelming, most importantly because of its small health pool. It is a very cool unit with cool animations that can deep strike from your HQ. So it's kind of a dreadnought, but not. It's faster, I think. Yeah, has really slow turn speed, however, and has some ranged weapons and so on. But it was the biggest problem was that it died too easily. So it has more health now, and it also starts with the teleport on cooldown. I don't remember if this was before or not. as you see here, the Lehman Russ, you have now a cap of 2 instead of 1, which should help late game scenario as Adeptus Mechanicus, because the late game was before really weak. It is still not as strong as it's, let's say, the reworked vanilla factions or some factions that have a lot of tier 4 stuff going for them, but it helps a bit at least. And another one that is also really nice is that you now can have a mobile HQ and a Titan up at the same time. So it's not one or the other. The Knight Paladin is still a relic unit from the stats. It is not a Titan class unit yet. It will be that way probably when the big rework comes, but it was too much to, let's say, code and implement for something that will be reworked eventually anyway. So this is, in terms of stats and everything, it is still a relic unit and not a Titan class unit. Another thing is that your second HQ is now significantly cheaper. This helps in also late game scenarios where you want to have probably more than one HQ around to build more units at once in very late game scenarios, or if you play, I don't know, some other survival or whatever, you want to have multiple HQs there as well. Another notable thing for mid-game is that the tier 2 timing, research time got slightly faster as well, because if you remember, you cannot even upgrade your listening post if you're not tier 2. So the price stays the same, but the timing is a little faster. And one of the very good changes as well is that you start with one maintenance servitor for the 13th company. The lone Greyslayer, I called him John. This is your, I don't know, little Mac. He starts you, so you can skip your first builder that would cost you 140 requisition and some building time. That's very on the of the essence in early game scenarios. So you start off with one, but only one, so you need to reinforce it for 35 requisition to get a full squad if you want to. If you get the maximum building time for 2, so you want to reinforce it once and then leave it for now. So it saves you 35 requisition, you could say, because it's only one model, but also saves you building time in the HQ, which is the bigger part for early game. So you can get for Skitari or your Maker's Explorator up earlier without needing the time to build another builder. That's pretty much it for AdMech. You see no new units, but a lot of adjustments. We will see some of them in play in a little replay I have against Creed, so enjoy. And here we are in the replay where I play Creed, who plays Tau Empire versus me as Adeptus Mechanicus. I forgot to tell you that all these factions will have their tech trees and build orders adjusted in my Google Drive, so you will have all the documents you want for them there. You see that I increase or reinforce the maintenance servitors only once to get the maximum building speed out. I do not go for more, as I do not want to use them in combat. This is really not feasible, as well as they have automatons, so you cannot really use them. But you will have immediately a unit that can build a listing post on this strategic point. My initial idea was to go for earlier tier 2, because I think, in my mind, I would need the what I called this Skitari on skateboards, basically on the hoverboards, to close the gap between the Tower Fire teams, but Fire Warrior teams. But we will see that Creed has a little interesting opener that can work. I don't know if you are aware, but the Tau Empire has one victory condition, one option, that they can now build turrets, and you have a drone sentry turret, which is a really good turret, and he built it a little too close, so I will be able to kill the builder just in the nick of time to not have a turret next to my strategic point. This in turn changes my plan quite a bit, so I cannot go to tier 2 as fast as I wanted to. He is also capping my strategic point here, which is a little sad, but it is how it is. I have my, oh, look at the new icons as well, nice. Have a Mechanicus Explorator now on the field, and will drop a turret here momentarily to prevent this turret from going up itself. So I can have an instant turret here that will jump here just in the nick of time again to kill this Earthcast builder, so it cannot get this sentry turret up. So this is the most important point in the match. I prevent this turret from going up. The turret itself has very little health, more than my turret has, however. So yeah, and for now I'm only having my 2 points here, but yeah, Creed also invested quite a bit. So this was also possible because I do not need to build a builder here, because I already have one. So I can get my Makers was on the field earlier than if I would go for a builder, for example. And also the Skitarii building time got reduced, so I had more units on the field faster. Now I'm thinking, if he was putting so much pressure on this point, will he have his point up? No, it just got capped, and probably will be able to be decapped at some point. I get my other outer point, but immediately get a searcher up, of course, get my point on the left side as well, so will not be able to get a searcher out immediately, but yeah, I will get one eventually. Interesting thing happens now here. I am having my maintenance servitors here, and there are some crews. What would you think they do? They go into melee, of course. I still want to build my stuff here, and because I know that these servitors are really good in melee, I stick them here, I leave them here. They are unbreakable because they have the full loading here, and they deal quite a lot of damage. The crews get killed, especially if they get the sync kills here. And he runs away. He would have probably won here, but yeah, of what cost? He retreats one squad. If there are 2 squads, he would have won, I think. But now I got time to reinforce to 4 models, so it's 4 models against 4 models. Yeah. How much is it to reinforce a crew? That's more than a servitor. Interesting. And the servitor have more health, it seems. Interesting. So the servitors are nothing to be laughed at, but they have still, you cannot move them outside their strategic points, basically, unless you have a leader or you have a drone, and the drone is tier 2. Tier 2 is already up for me, so this is nice. I will now upgrade my searchers here to get more resources and to get some defense. One thing I forget here is my servitors here, they run all the way to the crews here at some point, I notice, and will turn them back. On the other side, I will now put under pressure. I start the STC searcher here with my hero, as I have captured it already. So I have a really good position here. This point I will not be able to kill, of course, but yeah. The words of the Hereticus scrap code. I will now have a pretty good foothold here. I will also upgrade this listening post. Now have Tau command against me. One thing I didn't notice or note in my first guide video is that the Mechanicus Explorator can repair herself, which is neat. So he has you can call it a healing ability for herself at all the time. It's really nice. Upgraded the stuff. Even yeah, so I also got my relic finally. So now my question is, how do I break the Tau base? Breaking the Tau base isn't easy, especially that Creed is probably also preparing tier 2 now. So I think at some point I just move in and then reevaluate. Yeah, I think I try something. Yeah, we'll see if it works. You see this little mark on the ground. Get the turret here, but it's very low health. Trying to get this listening post for now. Focusing it, getting my data value yellow, which increases the squad cap and the loadouts of all my units here. But I need to run away. The turret was not enough against 2 squads, and I also have the listening post firing at me. I try to repair it, but yeah, will not be able to. But I will almost kill this listing post, which is nice, and killed some crude models here as well. So now I decide finally. I was undecided on what units I should go for. I got now the hardened carapace, which should give me quite a lot of more health. You see here 3600 health on 6 models. It's really good. So I get grenade launchers on one squad and melters on the other. Grenade launchers to go for the infantry and melters to get fighting against the buildings. I have also added a drone, a skull swarm, because it gives a lot of bonuses. You always want to have one near your troops. And at some point I will also go for the what are they called again? Praetorians. You see here that grenade launchers are good. Will I go for? Yeah, I go for a long last as well, because they're also one of the stronger stuff I can add. Now I move in with the melters here and trying to get this listening post down. But the crude are intervening. There are now also fire warriors out. One squad, it is 2 squads. But Mechanicus is forcing melee combat for one with long lass, with one long lass standing back, killing crudes left and right. These guys do not die as easily with their HP upgrade, as you can see here. So yeah, and now I have the Mechanicus here using her disable ability, which I should have used earlier. She has an ability that disables buildings. Would have been really nice to have online earlier. The little miss micro here for me, of course. The guys with the long lass are not in combat. Are not involved in combat, and I see that tier 2 is not finished yet, but on the way. And in the back you see my Praetorian squad walking in. I got one sniper Praetorian, long range sniper rifle, and will got for support Praetorians later on, because they have heavy stoppers, and heavy stoppers we all know are pretty good. Boom! The upgrades for the Tau should not be in how should I say, should not be researched yet. They will probably be researched as we speak, but I can try to move in here, kill listening posts, kill some powers and whatnot. My Praetorian squad is in here. I will get a drone out, because these are automatons. My drone, my skull swarm got killed, so I will get another one for replacement, killing the plasma generator to do some economy damage, and now focusing probably on the listening post. I have a Hellstalker ready in base, which I will need to break this little position here, which I do not want to walk into while also all the time being fired at this listening post. So I just stand here for the moment. I forget about the Hellstalker, because that's me, but I will remember it momentarily, and then we will see what happens here. And Mechanicus is still alive. She is attacking the path of enlightenment, also occasionally repairing herself. The guys with lighter guns are here, and here is the Hellstalker. The Hellstalker now, with its increased HP pool, can tie up squads way longer than before. Before it was really fast focus down. You can now see that she should repair herself. Yes, you can see it here. Repair rate is pretty good, but it also drains resources. Hellstalker is here, has still, how should I say, data link, because there's one skull swarm around from these support Praetorians. They have a skull swarm here, so the data link stays strong. Focusing down tier 2, so and this is basically a GG for now, for Creed here. So I win a game against Creed, who is one of the best players on the ladder. Mostly because he was doing a gamble with his turret. If he would have got the turret up, I would have lost pretty handily. Also trying to repair the Hellstalker a bit to enable it to fight more squads here, but this is GG's. I was thinking about this timer that Creed had because of his stealth suits, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's jump into the next faction, which will be Blood Angels. See you there. And here we are for in the save game for the Blood Angels. Blood Angels is another faction similar to Adeptus Mechanicus that will get a rework eventually. So there were no fixes for the models and stuff. There are some wonky models that have a jetpack not glued to them, or I think it's the land speeder that has a floating bolt gun or whatever. That will be adjusted if they get new models in a rework and whatnot. So it's more of number adjustments. There are some UCS like tooltip adjustments, like for the power swords here. There was some question marks if it affects scouts or not. So this is something, a little thing you will note that you research power swords. The scout sergeant will not get a power sword or a power fist, but in the code he does. It's just a visual thing that is missing here. So he still gets better in melee with the upgrades, but you cannot see it really. That's the part. Another thing why I have them here is that the shotguns, these thingies here, the knockback got reduced slightly, I think, because this was the best shotguns in the game, basically, because they have relatively, I don't know if it's the real range showing here. We can make sure to see that in a second. But they have long range and knockback for shotguns, that is. Another thing that I'm pretty sure that got nerfed was the Devastator plasma cannon, because it was too good, it seems. So I haven't played a lot of Blood Angels, but the guys that ran them then, or even picked them, were aware that the plasma cannons were too strong, so they be adjusted. So let's see the range on it. That's a big range for a shotgun, I tell you what. So this knockback got a little adjusted. But the biggest change for Blood Angels is that the Red Thirst ability they all have, the Red Thirst, was before, if they go into melee, they will go rampant and you lose control. So this has changed, so we can see it here. I put a little squad in here that shoots me and I attack it. You see, they do not get thirsty and what. They just go into melee and hack away. They will also not get their buff. This was not just, let's say, a debuff. It's also a buff for their health and damage and regeneration and whatnot. We quickly melt these guys, but it's also Blood Angels, so we will see they are now red and they have more health and fight a little better. But the AI has lost control, as if it had control. So it is now, I spoiled it a bit, it is now if you lose morale. So you will stay here for a bit, fly around these flamers, and will lose morale eventually, and then the guys, I cannot control them. So they now, I cannot control them, they are on red stand, so they will go, and they have a little more health and melee damage, I think, while the buff is active. But yeah, so you lose control when you are broken. What I could not show, what I wanted to show, is that you can use your sergeant, what is it called again, your sergeant rally ability to get control again. So if you have an enemy that breaks your morale, like what factions are there, like Dark Elder or whatnot, that break your morale, or other factions with very good flamers, you can pop the rally and run away. So this is one way to escape. So this is really nice for what it does. So Blood Angels can now finally melee stuff without completely losing everything. That's a good change, I would say. Yeah, and also a replay for you now where I try to use Assault Marines, because Assault Marines before were really bad, because as soon as you are in melee you lose control. So no real way to use an Assault Marine opener. So I can show you now that you can. And here we are in the replay. It is again me against Greed. This time I am Blood Angels versus his Tau Empire on Battle Marches. I choose this map because I want to use Assault Marines, as I have told you in the previous section. So I go for a barracks into armory, 2 builders to have them up very early, and 2 scouts. You can opt for 3, but I like 2 because then I can add another Assault Marine squad rather early on. So the idea on this map is that you rally your troops here, jump over here and annoy your opponent, like decapping, killing stuff, jumping over here, decapping, killing stuff. that's the basic idea. Let's see how I fare with this thread. It's very micro intensive, so prepare for some micro mistakes, I guess. So it's not let's say a showcase of my it's not the showcase, how should I say, of me playing good. It's more of a showcase of what is possible now. I will need to drink something because my voice is starting to die. Okay, first assault squad is almost out. I built 2 listening posts at the same time, so once they're finished with the income gift I get, I will be able to get another one. We will follow those guys a bit as they jump over. And I will see, sadly, that this point is already taken. That's why you want to take this point first. And yeah, we'll opt to do some damage against this listening post, which is okay-ish. Will reinforce these once I have the resources. Will need to get more listening posts myself in my base. So maybe I should have jumped over here and see what I can do, because this is more or less wasted time, you could say, because there will be some reaction, and this is the Tau commander here, which got also a target acquired up already, so I lose 1 model immediately, but my second assault squad is out now. I also walk in the trap here, which is bad, but there they come, second squad. I need to think about the detection as well when you fight the Tau. Yeah, and yeah, so this is now Benny Hill. Everyone runs away from one another, but I will need to use the jump ability, especially now that I see this listening post got a gun attached. So I jump over here, and I think, yeah, try to focus on the plasma generator. These guys follow those troops for a bit. Will they kill some models? Come on, you can do it. One model down. Other one is really low. So I jumped him over here. See that this listening post isn't done yet, so I can get this builder probably. Yeah, but around the map I have basically just my base, have no generator, but you don't need a generator per se in this opener. I will add now 1. What you can do, which is micro, of course you can do. The other one is that you have some melee squads and these assault squads here, but no range support, but you can use these pretty good shotguns because you already have an armory as well, and you always will have some scouts as well, so you will have some range support if you add that. Yeah, and that really range support, that is, I told you that the miss micro here as well, need to jump earlier out, not take damage from the Tau commander. The Tau commander in melee isn't as bad as you would think from a Tau. But yeah, now that there are 2 fire teams out, I should probably not stay here anymore, but I still do. Kill a model or 2, but will also lose models. Reinforcing a fire warrior is really expensive, as you can see, but yeah. Adding a skull probe here to have the Salt Marines. This is the Salt Scout Squad. That's what I told you, what I do. Looking here at the already kept critical location for a bit, but yeah, I will use the Scout Squads to support a bit. We'll lose a squad here, I think. Yeah, I didn't notice it in time. So in theory, you will have 2 Scout Squads with shotguns and 2 Assault Marines to annoy / fight against the enemy. But for now I need to run away here and reorganize. I get another plasma generator out, but yeah, this is really set me back, this squad loss as well, that I needed to reinforce so much. As I said, as the second fire warrior squad is out, I should have left the base and fight for the outer points basically, and not lose 1 squad and have nothing to fight with yet. Why am I not going tier 2? I thought I had a really quick tier 2, but here you can kind of see how assault scouts can deal with even fire warriors because of the knockback and the intense damage of the shotgun. Just look at it. it cannot fire on the move, or does it? So these are really cost effective. They cost 45 and then shotgun costs 30, so it's expensive, but yeah, it pays for itself. And now these are morale broken and I will lose them as well, so another squad off the field. On the other side I win another fight against fire warriors with the shotguns. You see here I even kill one full squad, which feels good, and also can get this stealth suit if he's not careful. Trying to jump over me, you will not. Come on, get up so I can shoot you again. Just little whatever this is. Okay, so now it's a little more quiet. I get my tier 2 up, get power swords, because I thought I will get for more infantry, but then I decided I will go for vehicles. But yeah, we will see how this pans out. I thought tier 2 with wings of the wings of Sanguinus will lead into good results, but the enemy, I do not have any infantry left, and just some flyers by themselves will not be enough. Spoiler, I will get some land speeders, but the building time is really slow. I will need to get a vehicle cap increase, and yes, if I had my infantry still alive, I probably would have had a chance, but these guys, these land speeders without support, we will see now here how they fare. We have these piranhas out. This is the biggest problem. The piranhas can get fusion blasters, but if the piranhas wouldn't get fusion blasters, it would be the stealth suits here, which already have probably stealth suits fusion blasters out as well. These breachers, I saw some breachers here. Didn't I see them? Saw some shotguns, kind of. I thought there was some breachers. Yeah, but yeah, there's enough anti-vehicle out so that I cannot hold. So this is GG for me this time, so you could call it 1-1 overall score. We will see how the last one will fare. But we will start with an overview of the new stuff for Black Templar, and then with a little replay. Alright, and this is the save game for the Black Templars, which will not get a rework, part not like the other factions, but they got a few fixes and new units even in. So we will, I think, first go through the new units, because that's what you would like to see most, I think. First of all, just a few more options and models for the command squad. You now have a company champion. Let's find him. Command squad, company, standard bearer. On the back, company champion, there it is. This guy with the big old power sword and storm shield. This guy is now always available to your squad, so get more beef, you could say. And before it only could get heavy bolter, now can also get plasma guns and missile launchers. Or missile launchers were before as well. I think now the plasma guns you can also have. So you have now another model in the squad and plasma guns. You have also completely new squad, you could say, the Reclusiarch Merrick Grimaldus, which is a how do you say a chaplain. A special chaplain that cannot be fielded when you have a chaplain, or vice versa. So they share a limit, but it's a tier 3 unit which has a little retinue around. You can choose a heavy bolter, multi-meddler, or a melee servitor. I have taken one each to show. Has really good weapons as well, and has these passive auras. I need to go through them because I completely forgot. Brothers strike the foe harder. So the damage buff. Fear, so also a morale decrease for units around. Regeneration, which is standard for a chaplain. And brothers immune to knockdown. Wow. His presence alone inspires courage, increasing morale of battle revolve to all. So really big buffs around and overall for him. There's also another new leader, the Marshal. Marshal apparently was in the game for quite some time. He has, it's similar to your Castellan, but better. He looks, I don't know, is he Primaris himself? But he can summon a Primaris the Blade Guard veterans and can use the Holy Orb of Antioch, similar to the Force Commander, to the Castellan. And the squad he summons are these Primarch guys here. Look at them, they are big. They are really big. And one has a standard, I think that's the Blade Guard Ancient here. Provides inspiration to the squad. And what is most notably is their weapon choices. They can Volk-tied pistols. How awesome is that? Look at them. They take a very long time, but yeah. And the weapons, they have these axes and swords. I like them. They are now a tier 4 unit, similar to the Marshal, so increasing the late game capabilities of Black Templars for late game scenarios, which all you survival players or FFA players like, I suppose. Let's see how the Volk-tied weapon will look like. So he exchanges his shield, because who needs a shield when he can get a Volk-tied pistol? I mean, I know what I would choose. Alright. Another new unit is, we will go through this a little later, but these are your Knight Armiger Squadron. These are your tier 1 Titan. You start with 1 and you can reinforce another one. So this is a Titan unit as a squad, which is interesting. It's still a vehicle but cannot be repaired, if I recall correctly. Yeah, cannot be repaired, but you can reinforce them slowly, and you can give them also dual autocannons instead. Oh, these are dual autocannons, I suppose, before, so you get a full melee variant. You also have some sort of machine gun or thing on the top. Let's see how it looks with the autocannon before we go through the... Oh, they got both autocannons on both arms. This looks interesting, I would say. Wow. Okay, but the last new unit, you could say, is that you have now not only the Land Raider Crusader, which you had before. I think it also got a new model, I think. But you now have also the Land Raider Achilles and Prometheus. This is Land Raider Achilles. Can transport types of interest here. Has a lot of weaponry, so it does not get a hunter-killer missile. There's a research. Sacred artifacts, if we research it, some get a hunter-killer missile. Land Raider Achilles is not one. You see its weaponry here. It's mostly against aircraft, infantry and vehicles. Yeah, basically against everything, you could say. Has the machine spirit and can load up stuff. But you then also have the Land Raider Prometheus, which gets a hunter-killer missile from the research. Has is this flamers? I'm not sure really. Yeah, but this is the Prometheus. More against infantry because of his quadruply linked heavy bolters on the sides and probably a big old flamer at the top. And I think Land Raider Crusader was available before. It would make sense by the name, and he also is. It is also very good against infantry, as you can see here with these heavy bolters, more storm bolters, and a guy with a heavy bolter on top as well. So all the bolters in the world, I guess, can get the fire hunter-killer missile as well. And there's even another Land Raider variant that I will not show here, which you get in survival as a tier 4 reinforcement when you play on harder or insane. So you have now 4 variants you can field, which is really nice. At the same time, only if you have the unlimited add-on. Of course, they share a cap. This is the new stuff, but there's also some fixes and adjustments for the early game, mostly because the Black Templar had really rough start in early game in PvP, that is. There's several reasons. One of the reasons was that their Tech Marine was costing power, so you always needed to start with a generator so you are not running out. So this got fixed. It also has a faster building time, so it gets out faster. And the Crusader squad also has a little reduced building time as well, so you have a small head start now and compared to 5.9.1. There's also fixes that you can now attach stuff to the Crusader fire support team, and you can see the glow is now yellow and not the demonic purple, which all of you folks will like, I suppose.
What would you have
What else? Let's think a bit. Fire support squad got reduced in cost. Yeah, it was 200 before, it's now 190. And one thing that's more of a niche usage, you could say, it's more a little Easter egg, you could say. The more strongholds you build, the cheaper your squads go. This was also true for the Crusader squad, because with no barracks it costs 150. If you get one barracks, it's then 15 requisition less. This is also true for your Fire Support Squad and Crusader Squad. If you add more barracks, they get cheaper as well. This in increments of 20 and this in increments of 50. So if you get a lot of barracks, these squads get basically free. The Stronghold barracks is, how should I say, limited to 3 per HQ. So we need 3 HQ to get up to 9. And they will get basically for free. You still need to reinforce them. But yeah, before you shout out, "This is simple ants, what is this shit?" Just think about how much requisition and stuff you need to spend to get some cheap squads. You need to get 9 barracks, which is 9 times 250 requisition. You need to get additional HQs as well, which costs an arm and a leg. So yeah, just for almost 3 units here. So it's more of a, how should I say, if you're like FFA team game, late game, and you want to spam out Crusader squads to your enemy from all your barracks or something, that's the only thing I could think of. Or maybe even in survival where you think you will lose some Crusaders or a lot of Crusaders, then it can be kind of worth it. But other than that, it's just a little small cool mechanic, if you ask me. Yeah, and of course I have also one replay with Black Templars where I try to show that the early game is now better than before. Yeah, see you in the replay. And here on the last replay for this guide, where I play Black Templars on Fadamorga versus Creek, who plays Death Core of Creek. So new faction here as well for you to enjoy. So it's a lot of replays here, so it's more casting than actually guide, but I will explain stuff in the replays as well. So it's, how should I say, applied science instead of me talking for an hour. The opener I will get for is the quote-unquote standard opener. Your standard opener for Black Templar is a genless opener, because yeah, all your squads cost quite a lot and your barracks cost a lot as well. So you get one fire support squad and a Castellan after you get your first Crusader squad. You can also opt for 3 Crusaders or something as well, but yeah, that's something GapPR does like to go for example. Yeah, I do scout with this Tech Marine because I'm against Death Core of Creek and was scouting for an offensive bunker and whatnot. But other than that, I will get my points with this Crusader squad and this Fire Support squad, get my Castellan out. And if you remember the tech of Black Templars, you know what I will go with this remainder of economy once the Castellan is out. The command squad, which is very nice to have a apothecary in tier 1. And you see that I do not get a generator still. You can get an apothecary, I think, for 10 or 15 power or something, so you can get him up without having to build a generator. Other than that, I'm scouting for, yes, some offensive movements of the Greek player, and here are some Jaegers that I can fire at range. The Castellan has very good bolter to his hands. I think it is now fixed that if you get plasma pistols, he has both the plasma pistol and the bolt pistol, which was a little interesting before. Now I'm also turning into mid because I was thinking that Creek with its a lot of cheap Jaegers will be here. I also tried to, how should I say, cut the corner, but they are really fast, guys. I mean, these are young, these are probably age 15 guys, and they are still very fast, you can see. Now I get the Fire Support Squad, the Command Squad, and the Castellan here. I have now the Apothecary on the field. He costs 15, so I have 5 power left. Cannot replace anything, of course, but yeah. Getting the points out, and should get a second fire support squad momentarily here. We'll get this observation point attacked. I see that there's a bunker out, so I will try to get out of its firing arc, which I will be able to. There's no way I can fight this in range, so I think if there's a squad capping here, I will try to get it. It is Jaegers on the other side. These are fast moving guys. Yeah, so I get now, as you can see here, the second fire support squad, get all my points up finally, and then try to think what to do next. So I will speed up a bit. I will then have all my stuff and run through the middle here and see that he Creed go for a Lady Inquisitor. By herself she is really good, but if you face 3 squads of power armored Templars, she decides to run away. Who can blame her? I have now here the fire support squad added. Should get actually to the command squad, we'll change it later on. And now I'm reinforcing and forcing the issue here. The infantry of Greek will not hold this attack. I know that there is a bunker here, so I will get nowhere near here. I see his Django back and forth, his tango, so I'm doing the tango myself. Then decide to go for this observation post. First I'm a little hesitant, but then I add my Castellan to the command squad and will run in. These guys are really good in melee, especially with the Castellan. Have my guys here. I see the Jaegers using the Jaeger bomb, so I'm trying to run out of the range for now. Jaeger bombs does not have a range, but a duration, I think. Other than that, I lose some models, and here is now the Righteous Seal kicking in, which is beneficial, if you ask me, a bit here as well, because I this is really how it's supposed to be. It's like Black Templars have no way to go. They get zealous, they get strong, they fight harder. They yeah, even these guys, the command squad here, tying up units. There's soldiers, there's Jaegers, there are more Jaegers, there's the Inquisitor command squad, but these guys do not die easily, do they? The Lady Inquisitor will get chucked to death here, so see, it is so awesome. These guys survive. This is how you imagine it to be. I don't think this would be possible against a faction which has better infantry though. Not sure. I think IG it would be possible, but if they has the command squad as well for IG, it would be really nice. Yeah, and then killing some gas mask guys here in melee and range. So now I do not want to overstay my welcome, because I have here soldiers with grenade launchers and whatnot, so I run away. I have my armory up now as well, so I will get stuff out for my squads as well. Heavy bolters that is, and can now match the ranged damage of my opponent. So, but I had to reinforce quite a lot, as you can see here. I get the ranged upgrade. I think I have the what is it called? The bionics up already, so I have some upgrades for my units, and you can see here that this Jaegers and soldiers, these are 2 squads of Jaegers. Yeah, the one got lost control and will get, when they get in melee, they pull out those shovels. Yeah, they also have a loss of control, but if they lose morale, that is. Jaegers can still use the Jaeger bomb, I think. I see now heavy weapons platoon, so I know that Creed is tier 2. I try to focus it, but he is a little too good in the micro here. I want to use my command squad in melee. He still hasn't got this point back, so his economy should be worse than mine, given that I haven't upgraded a whole lot of points. But I'm already tier 2, on the way tier 2. He has actually a better economy because he has upgraded his points and I did not. As he is tier 2, there's just a matter of time before vehicles hit the field, but I'm a little late on the thinking here. But now that I'm tier 2, I have access to missile launchers on the command squad, which is really nice, and multi-melters on the fire support squad, which are also really nice. I try to go back for now. Where did I go actually? Because yeah, I have the win condition ticking against me, So I decide I will go around and try to decap stuff, get one Crusader squad on the side and go into the middle and everything is fine. Joke's on me, he sees me, and what does he do? He attacks this exposed squad in a minute. I got my Crusader seals now, so I have now a stronger Righteous seal and no controllers anymore. This should always be your first purchase in tier 2. What it also does, which I didn't know before, it also increases your heavy weapon capacity by 1 or 2, I think. So really nice to have. Yeah, and from now it turns really sour. For me, I lost the fire support squad on the left because it was on its own. I have now a Chimera with heavy stopper against my base here. It's only the Chimera, I think. There's nothing in it. I now use the time to use my newly shiny missile launchers here against this observation post, which is really nice. But yeah, there comes soldiers and heavy weapon platoons, which makes short work of this listening post. So my already bad economy will turn even worse. I need to refocus my attention. The command squad with all the upgrades and missile launchers are no joke against vehicles, as you can see here. We'll get this one and would cut the other one if it would stay close. Hit. I will get the observation post, but I lose the whole point here as well. Have now the sword brethren going for more bionics, of course, to get into melee, and cancel this to get melter bombs. Anti-vehicle ammunition, there are melters on the brethren or crack grenades, and also on the command squad are melters possible, because I see a lot of vehicle prowess here. I will get a but yeah, you can see it's 104 to 50 and only 62 and 20. So this is just me holding on to how should I say, to my life. If I would have not lost the fire support squad on the left, I think I would have had a chance, but now it is superior mobility on Creek versus very slow Crusader, so I use one bomb here, but he can just outrun me. He takes down this point, I will rebuild it, will get my points back, but it's so much economy damage done already. It's only 50 to 30. I have a lot of power because I had to spend a lot of requisition. The command squad cannot cap, which is really bad, so I cannot turn the timer out quickly. Kill another Chimera. Kill another Chimera, or do I? No, this is too much fire here. Will get a machine killed, but it's too late. I will, I think, start a last-ditch effort to attack. Will get my points finally back. Have not even enough resources to rebuild them, but it's almost, yeah. And now he is tier 3 as well with the Vendetta. Yeah, if it wasn't won already with this Vendetta, it is. I have a last fight going on here. But yeah, the writing's on the wall. The Vendetta will kill all of my economy and base in the back, so no way for me. He is basically one tier ahead now. This is basically only because of my, how should I say, worse economy. But I couldn't do a lot in tier 1 for my economy. If I hadn't lost my support squad in tier 2, I could have stabilized, got some upgraded listening posts, and maybe even a turret or two with less cannons. This would be really nice to have a defensive line. So to learn from this game in tier 2, when you notice your enemy is tier 2 and you are not, especially for Creek, you will want to defend your base. The land speeders are cheap, but the building time is really not as great, so yeah. I wanted to get missile launchers for them to have something against the Vendetta, but yeah. This is GG's. You see in the backside also the Vendetta killing my stuff in the base, so GG's agreed he will take the series, you could say, 2-1. He's the better player. I cannot, how should I say, be sorry about it. We will end as we're all, like Templar stuff ends with a Thunderhawk call in. Yeah, if I hope this guide was information, how should I say, with enough information for you. If I have forgotten something, if I told you some stupid stuff as the usual, just tell me in the comments. And other than that, I would say thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye!